Hello, this is Keith All. Today's tutorial we're going to learn how to create what we see here on the screen, which is a 3D text effect in Photoshop. So it's a simple process, and let's go over to a new document. And up here I just have my color palettes. So that's all that is. So I'm going to type in some text. You could use whatever font that you want. And for the color, I'm using this color right up here, which is the hex is 2, D as in David, 649, C as in cat. Click OK. I'm going to type in my word. We're going to use the move tool. Let's move it. Control T on a PC or Command T on a Mac. And I'm using the Shift Alt key combination and clicking and dragging the corner just to size this up. There we go. I'm going to press enter to apply those changes. Now what I want to do is I want to duplicate this layer, this text layer. So I'm using a keyboard shortcut Control J on a PC. I'm going to rename this one as blue and then this one as white. Now I'm going to drag this white layer down below the blue layer, and I'm just going to color it white. So I'm going to double click on the white layer, add a color overlay, and I'm going to change the color to white. Of course, you could use whatever color combinations that you want. Click OK. Now basically I'm going to use the move tool to move it down 2 pixels and over to the right 2 pixels. So I'm selecting the move tool and I'm just using my arrow key. Now it might be kind of difficult for you to see, but once I add additional layers behind this, you'll see the white stand out pretty well. So I just did that. So now let's create a group. I'm using the create a new group icon, which is in the layers panel. I'm going to name this black. I'm going to drag this group down below the blue and white layers. And I'm going to duplicate the blue layer by selecting it and pressing the keyboard shortcut Control J on a PC. And now I'm going to drag this blue copy within the black group we just created. So there we have that. Now what I want to do is I want to create like a long shadow that's behind the blue and white layers. And a keyboard shortcut to do this is you press down the Alt key on a PC, and it might be the Option key on a Mac, and you use your down arrow. So what I'm going to do is I'm pressing down the Alt key and down arrow. And if you could see what it did was it first it duplicated the layer, and then it moved it down 1 pixel. Now I'm going to use the right arrow key to move it over 1 pixel. Now I'm going to repeat this process for 20 times. So I'm pressing the Alt down arrow key at the same time to duplicate it, and then I'm releasing the Alt key and I'm using the right arrow key. And I'm going to continue this process until I get 20 layers. And as you can see on the screen, you can see the shadow forming in the background. And if you look at the layers panel on your right, you'll see I'm already on layer 10, so I'm going to go up to 20. There we go. We got 20 layers now. So in other words, I created a layer in the background, and I moved I created a layer, and I moved it down 1 pixel and over 1 pixel, and I continued that process until you got this effect here, this long shadow in the background. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select the group layer and double click on it to open up the layer style box. So now I could change the color of that. So I'm going to choose a color overlay. Click on color. I'm going to use my color palette up here. And the color that I'm using is the hex number is all 3s, as you can see over here on the right. Click OK. Click OK to accept that. And now what I want to do is I want to duplicate this black layer that we see here again, so I could create another shadow behind it, and you'll see how this is working in a second. So I'm going to highlight the group, Control J to duplicate it. I'm going to rename this layer as shadow. And I'm going to move this shadow below the black layer. So I'm going to click on it, drag it down below. And there it is below it. Now, all I want to do at this point is I want to use the Shift key, and as I do that, I'm pressing the down arrow twice. Shift, 1, 2. As you can see, it moved the layer down. And now I'm going to use the Shift again, but this time I'm using the right arrow key. And there we go. We got a longer shadow now. Now at this point, I'm just going to turn down the opacity of this shadow layer, and I'm going to go up here and change the percentage to 25%. And there you have it. And that's one way you could create a 3D text effect in Photoshop. Of course, there are multiple ways you could create the same effect, but this is one way that you could do it. As I said before, when we first created this white shadow here, it was hard to see only because the background color is almost white itself. But now here you could see that it stands out. So hopefully this tutorial gave you some new skills in order to create a 3D text effect. Remember to subscribe to my channel, and if you when you do that, click on the bell notification, so whenever I have a new video ready, you'll be first to be notified. Again, thanks for stopping by. You have a great day. I appreciate your support, and don't forget to like, share, and comment. Again, have a great day. I'll see you on the next video. Bye now.